Cam, the silence killing me. We need background music.
Like some elevator music or maybe some high intensity music just to keep everyone going.
That's right.
I'm sure there's someone there that has a lovely singing voice.
I'm sure there is as well.
That would not be me.
Not me.
All right, it's 2 minutes past 12, our official kickoff time. So thank you all for joining us on the Zoom call today. And for the bunch of people that are also tuned in on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live, for those on the Zoom call, microphones are muted by default. But as you can see, you can turn them on and you can talk. And please feel free to do that. In fact, we encourage everyone that is on the Zoom call to ask any questions of our guests or our hosts as we continue this session on. If you're coming to us on YouTube Live or on Facebook Live, there's a chat facility in those platforms. Unfortunately, you can't ask questions via your microphone, but please feel free to use the chat facility in both of those to ask our guests any questions. Alex Tullio, thank God you're here. It's Wednesday at 12 o'clock. That never gets old.
It never gets old, and you're a bad influence on me. I was about to say good morning, but it's good afternoon. And I hope you can all notice without asking permission of the producer, I've changed my desk around. That's how desperate I was for a change of scenery in my home office. So now you've got my office from a different angle, and I'm sure, Cam, you're going to tell me off because the light's too much on one side of my face.
It certainly is. It's exactly what I was going to say.
Yes, see, it's the rebel in me. I can't help it. So welcome, everyone. And thanks for starting us off as always, Judith. It's great to have everyone here. And it's great that we're streaming across multiple platforms now, which is super exciting for us. We've got a fantastic guest today, which won't surprise our members and regulars at all. For those of you who are new to the FEW community and to us, welcome. We love to have you here. All comers are welcome. My name's Alex, and I'm the Executive Director of FEW. You've already heard from our amazing founder, Judith Beck. Judith, you can say hi.
Hello, everyone. I muted it. I muted because, I thought that would make Cam feel better.
Yeah. He realizes the control is an illusion. So welcome, everyone, and welcome to this amazing community. We are all about the positive progression of women, about having an incredibly supportive community, about advocacy and connecting. So that's why Cam said before, do turn your videos on. We love to see you across in space. One day we'll be together again in person, I'm sure. But please do put your videos on. It's all about connection and deep connection at that. So what have we got coming up this week? Well, we've got the amazing Marina Brbot today, and I'm going to introduce Marina in just a moment. But before, for those of you who haven't heard this before, and even those of you who have, please do share this link. The live streams, I can't believe it's probably been 3 months now. We started the first week of lockdown. We have got such an amazing community here. And as Cam said, we've got people watching on YouTube and Facebook as well as via Zoom. So please do share this link around. It is free for all employees of our corporate partners. And why wouldn't you want to be part of this amazing community and just experience these incredible speakers and guests that we have and all the wisdom that they have to share? So please do share that. And as I always say, thank you to our corporate partners. We wouldn't be here without you. So it's great that you're supporting your female leaders and your staff this way. So what have we got coming up? Well, the lineup, so tomorrow we have Anna Glynn, and Anna's going to talk to us all about how we can thrive in whatever the new reality is. And I love that Anna doesn't talk about the new normal, because what the hell is normal anyway? So we're talking about very much around well-being and around positive psychology, and that's going to be a fantastic session. Then on Tuesday, we've got Alex and Alex. Me and Alex Wade, who's the CEO of AMP Australia. And it does make me laugh because I said, what do you want me to talk about? And he's like, oh, life, the universe, everything. So that's going to be a really good session. And then, of course, we've got another amazing session on Wednesday with Pascal as well. So don't miss those speakers coming up. And, of course, our regular program in terms of our masterclass events. So the Friday afternoon slot is working really well. So thank you for your feedback. Don't forget, for all our members, this is part of your membership, and we're bringing these to you weekly at the moment. So take advantage of the incredible experts that we have running our masterclass and deep dive sessions. And of course, this Friday, we've got Gordon Jenkins, who you heard from yesterday, and Gordon is a regular fixture with his colourful socks on these as well. So Gordon's going to be talking about how to establish this network of the future. And I think this is something that we're all hear a lot about from our members in our community, about this kind of reluctance around networking and connecting. So as I always say, do take advantage of this network right here and connect with someone today that you don't know, because you've got the perfect icebreaker. Then, of course, next Friday, I don't know, Judith, do we have a special event coming up?
I think we do.
If you actually broke the internet with your email you sent out yesterday, we have had, stand by, I've got the numbers right here in front of me, 120 people have registered.
Oh my God, it only just went out last
24 hours for this event. It better be good. No pressure.
You know what that means? I have to go get my hair done now.
It's going to be great. So Judith, we're going to be interviewing you with the amazing Elaine Anderson. And so you're going to give us the tell-all interview from your long and illustrious career in business. Is that right?
Absolutely. So 25 years as an executive search consultant, having a business. In fact, a lot of people that I see on the screen today, I probably have interviewed over the past. So I'm going to let it all out of the closet, all the secrets.
Well, I can tell you all, I've got no idea what's coming, so I'm just as intrigued as everyone else. So it's going to be a fantastic event. So for our members, for our masterclass and also due to the special event, all you need to do is go to our website and register, and you would have also seen an email with a link there as well. So do take advantage of those events. And of course, for those,
just put the link in the chat as well, Alex.
Great. So there's a link there
in the chat as well. So click on that, put yourself in. Yeah.
Beautiful. And so, of course, for those of you who aren't yet members, we are super passionate about this network and this community for good reason, and we want you to experience it for yourself. So Judith and I run monthly mentoring sessions, group mentoring sessions for our members. So we'd love you to come and join us on one of those just to see how powerful this community is. That is a confidential mentoring group. There are literally no questions that I think we haven't heard in that forum, and it is such a powerful peer group. And of course, I do a monthly masterclass as well that we'd love to invite you to attend as our guest to find out what all the fuss is about. So I know, Cam, you're going to put a link in the chat for those who would like to suss out a bit more about what it means to be a few member and part of this community. So without further ado, I am super excited to introduce our lovely guest today. Marina, I can see you looking glamorous in the background there. So let me introduce, for those of you who don't know Marina yet, let me just quickly introduce her via her bio. So Marina considers herself Australian-born to Croatian parents. Living the best of both cultures, she has always been led by her creative nature and became an award-winning photographer and motivational speaker and author of her first book, Because She Can. It was in her 50s that she was ready to reevaluate her life, step out of her comfort zone, put her fears behind her, and unleash the creative urge that was buried deep within her soul. Realizing that it was time to take her passion and fascination with women that collectively not only believed in a cause and chose to practice their values, but also contributed to our world in a positive way. Marina says she took her vulnerable self and turned her into the courageous being that she knew she could be. She took every rejection life had to throw her way and turned it into a redirection. Never say never is what Marina says. Take what you have and run with it. Kick all obstacles out of your way, then run a little faster. Marina, it is so fabulous to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
You know, you and I know I say this every day, but it's because it's so genuine. It's such a humbling experience to not only see all the faces here, but to speak to these amazing guests like yourself, because we get to chat in the background. And I know I've said to you, and I think I said when we were doing the promo, every time that I've talked to you, I get goosebumps when I hear your story and your passion. So look, I know we've had a bit of an intro, but for those who don't know you, tell us a bit about your journey and what's led you to this point in your life. And then I'd love to get into a bit more detail.
Well, it probably all started 50 something years ago. And that's where I began. And I think I lost a bit of myself along that journey, but you don't realize it. And I lost a bit to my culture, my religion, my family, teachers, bullies, work colleagues, and you perform. You start to perform, you get molded without even realizing. And this is where you start to lose a little bit of what I call my authentic self, which was sort of left behind. And things, life chips away at you and you don't realize it, and you get to a certain age and things happen. And with me, the thing that happened that was the biggest shift, the biggest movement with my internal self was my father died. And grief. Like, I didn't understand that. I knew he was going to go, or everybody's parents at one point or another, we lose someone. But the way that I took that was very internally and I was sad, but I was reevaluating, and I realized how precious this time on our earth is for all of us. And what am I doing? Like, he's gone, and I'm going through this year of real deep reevaluation, and I could feel a shift and I could feel a change, and I didn't know what am I to do with it, because I was on a hamster wheel of life, and I wake up every morning and around I go on autopilot, coffee, kettle, work, pictures, people, and everything became mundane, and it was time to get off. And I didn't know how. I just didn't know what was going to drive me to get off. And it was the death of my dad, and it was fear, and it was grief, I think, put together. And one night I just had an epiphany in my room. I had a moment where I broke down. And when I say broke down, I was cleaning my desk, and I had a little note on my desk, and that little note had names of women on there that I'd collected over the years, a lot of years. And that little note was shifted for years, from here to there, from there to here, and I never threw it away. And it's like, when you have something special, something precious, and your child has given you a note that says, I love you, mommy, and you won't throw that away. No matter how many times you move, no matter how many times you clean your cupboard, you will keep it. That note was my hope. That note, that little list, was the hope that one day I would be courageous enough, be woman enough, be who I wanted to be, to write a book of my dreams with those women in it. And it became a coffee table book with 30 names in it. So that was the night that I looked at it, and, I had a year of built up sadness and fear and wanting to move, and I wanted to move forward. I wanted answers for me, and I wanted my soul, and I've heard this before, to soar. There was more of me, and I needed to give it out. And what was holding me back? I was holding myself back. So I cried, and I was wiping my desk, and a tear hit the desk. And I remember watching it fall like a slow motion experiment, and it exploded. And so I wiped it up, because tomorrow I had to make lunches, and I had no time to cry, because I actually had no time for me. And I could feel, when your chest is sort of getting tight. And I'm thinking about my husband, who's downstairs, and I'm thinking about my son. He's on the computer, and my husband's sleeping with the remote in his hand, and they're happy. And I'm envying them in a way, because I'm thinking, but I want more. There's so much out there. I'm curious. I'm reevaluating. I want more. How do I get to it? No, it's not going to happen. We've got lunches tomorrow. We've got things to do, back on the hamster wheel. And another tear drops, and I wipe it. And then there's a part of me in the back of my head that's saying, why are you doing that? Why are you wiping them? And then I cry, and I sit there and I sob. And that was one of those sobs that, if I think about it now, I feel sorry for all the people in the world that have had that sob. All of us have had it. And it's the one that, you are sobbing from the pits of your gut. You're sobbing for what you've lost. You are sobbing for your life. I was sobbing for the little girl. I was sobbing for my life, my journey, and where I wanted to go. And it was deep, and I wanted to squeal. I was sobbing so hard that I just wanted to scream. And all of a sudden, it was like something came and took me by the face and said, stop. You stop. You stop crying right now. Your time to do what you want to do is right now. This minute, about 11:30 at night, not tomorrow, not the next day. Your time is now. There's no fear. Take it. I know you're capable. Do it. And I thought, God, Dad, Holy Spirit, what just happened? And I knew at that very, very moment, if I didn't do something, and if I would have gone back to bed, back to the pillow, back to where I leave everything, the dreams, I would never have done it. So I took my little list and I found 3 names on it. And I emailed them that night, that moment, bang, bang, bang. Send, send, send. And I thought, oh, got anxiety. I've just sent, who am I? This is where I'm doubting me now, right? Now, who am I? These women are business women, are women that are, doing things in life, women that I've admired, women that I've looked up to. I want them to be a part of my journey. And I've just invited them, not knowing what was going to happen. And I just sent. And I rang my best friend, Sal, and I said, Sal, and it was late. And she said, yeah. And I said, that book I've always wanted to write? And she said, oh, that's good. I'm glad you did. Okay, good night. I'll talk to you in the morning. I thought, great. Okay, go to bed. So I go to bed and I can't sleep. And I'm thinking, what am I afraid of? What is the fear that is overtaking me now? Because I've actually taken the first step to this amazing ride. And the fear was the 5 words that I gave those women. My name is Marina Brbot. And I thought they would get to Brbot and they would go delete. Who's Marina Brbot? She's nobody. And this is how I lived my life. I was judging myself by my past. The judgments from my past, the fears from my past, they held me back. And I fell asleep and that was fine. And 2 days later, I got my first reply, and it was from an amazing woman. And she said, Dear Marina, I would love to be a part of your book, Judith. And I thought, wow. And then I got my second reply. Dear Marina, it would be an honor to be a part of your book, Sister Jean. And I didn't get the third reply. And I thought, that's it. That's what happens when you go out on a limb. You can't do it. This isn't for everybody. This is just not for me. It's not going to happen. Back to badgering my head and beating myself up. And we are so unkind to ourselves. We are so ready to be negative with ourselves before we could be positive. And this is what I had to learn, I'm worth more than that, Marina. To Marina is what I'm saying. And a week and a half later, I got the third reply. And it was, Dear Marina, sorry we did not get back to you sooner. Moira has been renovating the house for the children. She would love to be a part of your project, Moira Kelly. And I thought, wow. Okay, now you've opened a can of worms. Now what are you going to do? So what are you going to do now, Marina? I had to become willing to trust in myself and move forward. I had to start forming the path beneath my feet, and I was going through this path that was full of debris, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel because I couldn't see it. All I could see is that I am going to be writing a book. I've started to write. I'm going into this journey into the unknown, and I'm going to have to start loving myself. And that took me 2 years of meeting women and getting to know them and starting to love myself and getting to know myself. And that's how the journey began.
So Marina, everyone's transfixed, by the way.
Oh.
Can everyone see now why every time I speak to this woman, I am covered in goosebumps? Because yet again.
Sorry.
You are. Oh my God, this is because there's so much. Like, I don't want to interrupt your flow. Like, I'm like, okay, just you keep going. But God, this is so powerful because so many of us, I think women especially, you're talking about loving yourself, understanding who you are, having courage, being. So we are so unkind to ourselves. We've talked on this show many times, and I see some past guests here who've also shared stories about imposter syndrome and this voice.
Yeah, I had that.
And, I think especially what you say that's so resonating even now is that I find so many of this community are saying, I feel like I'm at a crossroads, Alex. Like, this is such a huge reflection point. And when you talk about, it's scary, isn't it, when you say, I was on this treadmill and I'm in autopilot. I get up, I put the coffee on, the kids are this.
Yeah.
I think so many people are leaning into this. So you started on this amazing journey, and you've gone, you know what, I'm going to write a book of these incredible women. Tell us a bit about then, you know, was this long held dream, so it's come to fruition, you've got the courage, you've jumped in.
Yeah.
Was the journey then what you expected it to be? Like, what, I imagine there were some pretty fundamental learnings that you had along the way.
It was nothing like what I expected it to be. Each woman in the book was given a quote, and there was one woman in the book, and her name's Angela Wheelton, and her quote for me was, "You don't know what you don't know." And when she said it, I was like, I had the pen and I was like, yeah, and she said, "You don't know what you don't know." And I was like, And I thought, that's it, isn't it? And I drove home and I thought, that's it. You don't know what you don't know. And it was the shortest and the most profound quote I'd ever heard. I did not know what I did not know. I was embarking on a journey that didn't know I knew what I wanted the outcome to be. I knew I wanted this beautiful book and I wanted these beautiful women in there, and their stories were so important because I wanted to share them with the world. But how was I going to get there? So now I had to transform me. Fear. I had to knock on the door. I had to say hi. I'm here, I'm talking to, you know, these women that are saving children's lives, are mentoring, are doctors, are, you know, humanitarians, that women that have done, and it was like the fear. And I realized I just had to be me. And I had to be willing to open up more of myself and tell my story and share my story. So when I would meet them, we would sit there and we would talk and we'd dunk biscuits together. And I think, you've just sat with Prince Charles at the table because you're part of the Prince's Trust. And here's Marina Brbot sitting at your table, you know, I'm getting your story. And we're hugging at the end and we're saying, it was so nice to meet you. Yeah, you too. Thank you, you know. And I'd come home and my husband would say, how'd you go? I said, I went to university. I was at the University of Life today. Women, we are an amazing breed, and we give each other 1 grain of gratitude, 1 grain of support. We have an abundant field of hope, because when you get a grain of support from a woman, it's special. You know, we are so easy to put each other down, but when I started to connect with other women, my women were all diverse, you know, Muslim, Indian, Australian, Croatian, Greek. Their causes were so diverse, but fundamentally, they were like me and you, heart and soul. Everybody has a story, you know, everybody has a story to tell. And I just had to become more willing, and I had to surge forward and unravel, and started to get curious and more curious about me. My journey became about getting curious about me, who I was.
And so along the way, I mean, wow. So give us a bit more of an insight into the book itself. So, because I know when you and I were chatting, you were saying, you know, I've been fascinated for my whole life about these inspirational women that live their values and have an impact. And
Yeah.
this was the list, right, of
Yeah.
women that had been inspiring you.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of an insight, like who are some of the ones that the stories really resonated with you and stood out?
They all did. It, you know, there was those that were passionate. There were those that did things with their heart and soul. Well, most of them were. Margaret Zita, who you had on, I mean, her passion for those children in my room is, Margaret Zita is a woman that I connected with, and it does everything with her heart and soul. And she just showed me that she's unstoppable. She's just an unstoppable and amazing woman, you know. You know, Sister Jean Dwyer, a woman who has this little place in Yarraville, and she's a nun, a Josephite nun, and she's in her 80s, and she's helping people with you know, drug and alcohol problems, giving them a place to come and comfort them and the families of these people. You know, I had women that were, Anna Gessa, she runs the Silver Circus. And children that were dying were brought in wheelchairs, and they would never forget the circus, the time that they went to the circus, because that's the unforgettable experience. And she would, you know, go with the Make a Wish Foundation, have them come to her circus in wheelchairs, not knowing that they're going to die or live, but to give them that hope, that sense of, of hope. Claire Marsh, one of the ladies, she was at in the Bali bombings. So she's in her hotel room, she's in the Bali bombings. Her husband's a doctor, Dr. Marsh. He gets sick the night of the bombings, and it was their girlfriend's 40th birthday, and they're going to the Sari Club. And he can't go because all of a sudden he's got Bali belly. And through the grace of God, they stay in their hotel room. And they get a call from Australia to tell them, are you okay? Bali's just blown up, basically. And they know, you're a doctor, go. They phone the Australian consulate, and they end up going to the hospital, and there's nothing but mayhem, death, not enough equipment, blood, bodies. She's going through the pockets, identifying bodies, and he's doing the best he can. And their friend Jodie Kern, she passed away. She was in there that night. And so Claire comes back, and she decides to send medical supplies to those countries that need them because they had none. So these women were just there's 30 of them. Judith Beck, few. What she does, what the mentoring, what you people are doing right now. What an amazing, extraordinary woman. Helping you ladies are mentoring. You're here through a coronavirus, you're giving somebody something to do during the day. Listen to some inspiration. It will help you grow because you can. And you choose to, and we choose to do these things. And all this was opening up my eyes to the beauty of what we can do and let go. And then I started having to let go of the fear that was holding me back. The fear and the vulnerability and the not being worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. But what you do is you get hungry enough. And when you get hungry enough, and when you have a passion, you'll take that fear and you will take that vulnerability. And they're like a chain that you have, and we all have them. But the final link is courage. And when you link that on, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. I had to get courageous and know that I don't know what I'm going to step into. Like a fireman, he's going to step into the fire and he doesn't know, but he's courageous enough. And the courage is listening to your heart. Your heart and my heart. That truth, that wisdom that comes from in, we cannot let that be distorted by those that are not worthy of distorting it. We have to believe in ourselves. And that part of my journey, the belief in myself was the hardest part. And it's still, it's ongoing. This doesn't happen overnight, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's Deshana Barber, an American woman and beauty queen. She was doing a talk and she said, do not fear failure, but be terrified of regret. Do not fear failure, but be terrified of regret. And that's what I was terrified of. That night in my room, if I hadn't have pressed those buttons, I would be terrified of regretting for the rest of my life. Because I knew if I didn't do it now, and my time was now, I would not do it. Because fear would hold me back. I'll go back onto the hamster wheel. I'll go back to my bedroom. I'll go back to, making the lunches and that. And then I'll die with regret. I thought the world would come to an end and I would die and I would not be the woman that I wanted to be. That can't happen. It's not going to happen. And it doesn't have to happen for all of us. We all have different aspirations and different dreams, but give it a go. Give it a go.
This is so powerful, Marina. I mean, I think we all struggle with this, don't we? Because what you're talking about is, you're right, it's the internal game, that it's a continuous journey and it's the hardest journey. Yeah. And I love how you're talking about, let go of the fear and have courage for whatever you want. And you're so right, because I think you've also touched on so many things, but you've also touched on, the norms of what success looks like, what it means to be successful, the path we have to pursue. Yes. Everything that we've, the systems, everything that kind of puts us on a path.
Yes.
You don't want to end up with a life that you don't feel joy for and that you have this regret. So everyone's journey is going to be different.
Different, correct. Like somebody's success might be to bake a cake. Somebody's journey and looking for courage might be, I want to get out of this relationship. I'm in this relationship and I really want out and I don't know how to do that. I want to go to see my boss and ask for a raise and I want to change things there. And I don't know how I'm going to do that because I'm not worthy and I'm frightened. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to have no regret. Nothing is perfect. Like happiness is not going to last forever. Joy doesn't last. We're not joyous every day. We look for joy and we strive to be happy in that. But life is in general sometimes not so smooth going, yeah? But not to fear it. To understand that today I've got a hiccup. I'd had hiccups. As much as all 30 women said to me yes, like no one said no. I got rejected in other ways. And when I got rejected by, I got to the middle of the book, the writing and the doing, and once again, you don't know what you don't know. I got rejected by, who's going to publish your book, Marina? Don't know. Who's going to distribute your book, Marina? Don't know. Some of my work had been published, but I'd never published anything, and I didn't know. And I actually thought, you know what? You don't know. You don't know what you're doing here. And I got to the middle, and I started to hear some snide remarks, and I got some toxic people in my ear, and I thought, okay, I'm going to give up. I'm going to go back to the desk. This isn't going to go anywhere. Nobody wants to publish me. And every time I rang somebody, it was, with all due respect. I don't think so at the moment. Next September, we're taking applications, manuscripts. Have you written anything before? I'm so sorry, not today. No, it's nothing that we're interested in. So I thought, where does the little guy start? Where does that person that has a passion and has an ambition, where do you start? When you have to make it happen, and you cannot let these rejections bring you down. And I was down. I was thinking, okay, that's it, I'm going back. And then I thought, but I'm terrified of regret. I'm the one that's, like she said, do not fear failure, but be terrified of regret. What, am I going to really die and not have done it because somebody said no to me? Who are they? They don't know me. So I found the final woman, final company, and it was one of the biggest in Australia and in the world. And I called, and the girl at the front desk was lovely. And she listened to my story and she said, wow, what a great sounding book. These inspirational women, diverse women, sending a message to the Australians, about what are we capable of. Let me put you on to my boss. And I thought, oh my God, there is a God, hallelujah. This is going to happen, right? And this woman came on the phone. Hello. And I said, hello. And she said, tell me. And I told her. And the first words that came out of her mouth after I told her my whole spiel and how wonderful my women were and everything was, with all due respect, Marina. And there it was, that kick in the gut. And I could feel her foot in my stomach. You could be writing about Meghan and Harry at the moment. And unfortunately, it's not going to be sellable. Right. Or you could give us $60,000 and we'll see what we can do for you. Right. Okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, if only you could read my mind. And I thought, I am not writing about Meghan, and I'm certainly not writing about Harry. This has got nothing to do with, you didn't hear a word I said. You are not hearing, I am so passionate about this, I have put my life on the line. My heart and soul is in this. And she didn't understand. And it was like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. Thank you kindly. I'll call you. Don't call me, sort of thing. But that final kick in the gut, that final rejection was the one that made me think, no goddamn way. Where there is a will, there is a way, and you're going to find it, Marina. You're going to scrape yourself off, and this is what they call the fall. You fall. You try and you fall, and that's life, and that's okay. I've realized that that's okay because those falls, she made me a stronger person. In that 5-minute conversation, she gave me more courage than I'd had probably 3 weeks prior to that. Because I had to link that link of courage and say, okay, I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to find a way. And I did. So, yeah.
How did you find a way?
I started to speak. You have to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. We all have a story. And if you are passionate enough about something, and if you want something, there is nothing that will stop you. You are unstoppable. I became obsessed, and I became unstoppable. And when people used to say that, I used to think, oh yeah, this was my dream. And I had to find a way. So I started to ask, and I got curious. Again, get curious, ask why. You know, we need to get curious, and we need to be not afraid to ask why. How? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do I know? Does anybody know anybody? And I happened to go for lunch with somebody, and a very close friend of mine, and I said to him, George, you know, I'm looking for somebody that can do this. And he says, hey, you know, Eddie Nagar has got publishing companies in Asia. I said, does he? He said, yeah, call him. And I did. And it got published. And it was beautiful.
It is beautiful. I hope
Thank
you have a copy there to show us, because we also we'll obviously put the details up so we can buy a copy of your amazing book.
Thank you.
So, and I should say, everyone, stop being shy. We've got some amazing comments in here, Marina, of people saying, my God, this is amazing.
Oh, really, really? I can't see it.
Well, I can tell you. So, Sheena, thank you. This is so powerful and relevant. Thank you already for sharing what you have. Ruth, you're such an amazing storyteller. Thank you for sharing your authentic self. I can listen to you speak all day. Thank you. And the incredible Margaret Zeta, who I can see looking gorgeous as always. I love that both of you two. And so Margaret's saying, I got imposter syndrome when Marina rang me to be in the book. But you had imposter syndrome asking Margaret to be in the book.
Yeah.
So there's something going on here about women and imposter syndrome. Ladies, I hope you are listening to this.
Yeah.
So please do ask a question of this amazing woman. This is not a chance that you get every day. So if anyone has a question, please put it in the chat. So Marina, I also love when you and I were chatting in the lead up to this.
Yeah.
And, you know, God, we were talking about all these things.
Yeah.
And then you were saying, you know what, Alex, you've got to be accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
And so I'd love, because this incredible community that we have here are these amazing, talented women and some very intrepid, amazing guys that are part of this community as well. You've touched on surrounding yourself with the right people, of having the courage to jump in, of not being afraid of what might happen. Because I think, you know, we all play this what if game, but what if? Like you've just been recounting. So what would you say to, I mean, what are some of, I mean, God, you've already shared so many, but what were some of the real lessons that you would then, a bit of a, you know, almost a call to action to everyone here about, you know, some of the lessons that you've learned that you'll put on the line for us today?
You know, that's interesting. I'm still learning my lessons. And I learned that rejection, you know, rejection to me, before all this would have been like, oh yeah. Rejection has become like a friend. Like, okay, so you're rejecting me, right? That's fine. You're going to reject me. I'm going to redirect. You reject, I'll redirect. I'll feel miserable for a few minutes or an hour or so. My ego's been bruised and that, and they've rejected me. You know, that's sad. Maybe I'll cry. Maybe I will have a cry. Okay, but what am I going to do about it? You know, it's the way that you plant what's in your mind, how you think and perceive yourself, and how you become worthy and you are enough. But when you start to realize that you're enough, things just evolve and they happen without you. It's really weird. It's like you come from within yourself out, and then you all of a sudden, that old cocoon, you've dropped that shell of that old cocoon that was full of, you know, the judgment and that stage of life that we were standing on, that I mentioned. You know, we stand on this stage of life because we're put there through all these obstacles, all these people, our families, our, you know, religions, and we perform. Every day, we're performing on this stage in this ill-fitting costume that we don't like, you know, with colors that are draped over us that don't match our eyes, that don't match us. And we're thinking, yeah, okay, gotta do this, gotta. You know, and then we're sharing lines with people that we don't really like and we don't want to speak to. But they come and they join our Christmas table. And we try to be nice to them when they make us walk on eggshells. And they are not contributing to our growth or to our freedom of being ourselves or being our authentic self. But we allow them in our life because she's related to my husband, or he's, you know, she's been a friend for so long. There's a time where boundaries come into it. And when you learn that it's okay to have boundaries and you start to implement them little bit by little bit, people will start to back away because they don't like it, because people like the way you were, the vulnerable you. That's, you know, oh, she's feeling vulnerable today. That's okay. At least I'm not vulnerable today, you know. I had to let go of all of that. And that is very, very difficult. And that was a lesson. And not to fear that rejection or those toxic people, but step away from them. Redirect, step away, and just start stepping away. And it's funny how a new mindset of people start to come into your life. Those that bring you joy. Those that you can sit down for hours. I have my girlfriend, Kath, in Gisborne. We can talk for hours about this. And then we're like, we've been on the phone for 2 hours. We have to get off the phone. You know what I mean? Because we've got our mindset is the same. And I can meet people like Judith, and I can meet people like you that we're in sync. But I've been holding on to these people that have been bringing me down, these toxic people for so long. Why? And then one day you wake up, you think, I can't do that anymore. You know, you've just been on the phone with your dramas, and I spent an hour of my time listening to your dramatic life, and part 2 will be next week. And you're not going to do anything about it. I'm choosing to do something about it. I chose to do something about my life in the direction it was going in. And it wasn't easy. And it isn't easy, but it is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. I have never felt the way that I feel today. And you know what? The best part about it, it's no longer about me. It's no longer about serving me. Now I get to serve others. You know, now I can actually say to you, I can help you with that because I've lived it. I'm not a therapist or any, all I can help you with is the experience that I've had through my journey. Yeah.
Amazing. So, Sheena, did you want to ask your question, or would you like me to ask it?
I can. So did you set any rules or reminders for yourself when you were trying to keep these toxic people out of your life? So obviously you go, yep, I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep them out of my life. How did you stick to that?
I had to, because you see, I couldn't become what I wanted to become with still having them there. It's almost like you've got this, you want to go towards something that's bigger and brighter, and you want to go smell something that is just so beautiful over there. And these people are spraying you with this, like this toxic perfume, and you carry it. As soon as you leave them, you're carrying that with you. You're miserable. You're angry at your children. You're angry at your husband, and you're thinking, what happened? And it's this negative influence, and you know it. You know what's happening. You're talking to them and they're giving you that negative vibe, and you're thinking to yourself, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I sitting here? It's up to you to decide when you're worthy enough to say, hey, I don't really need you in my life anymore. And you don't have to say it to them, but you will choose to walk away and say, when I see you, hi, how you doing? But you cannot influence my life anymore. You cannot infect me with your negativity anymore, because I'm on a different path. I no longer want to be, you're fighting hard to get off that path with these people. Why would you let them keep bringing you down? It's time. You'll find the time when the time is right to say, hey, no, not today. I don't want to go out for coffee with you. I don't want to have you with me, or, whatever. And they'll slowly back away, and you will meet. The beautiful thing is that you'll enrich your life with better, and you'll grow. Don't be afraid. Get courageous. Don't be afraid. Fear, that was something that was probably, those people are there because you think of traditions, and, they've been my best friend for so long. How can I break away from a friendship like that? And how can I, this is, we're conditioned. We're such creatures of habit, human beings.
So true. Listen, we could talk for hours. I have no doubt. So, Marina, I can't believe, as always, I say this almost every day. It's 12:45. What's happened to the time?
Oh, is it?
Didn't I tell you that this would just go by in a flash?
Haven't I?
I told you. I said the same thing to you, Margaret, as well. This will just be like a casual chat. It'll go so fast, you won't believe it.
I thought we were just starting.
Well, hey, I'm happy to keep going.
Yeah.
Tell us, have you got a copy of your beautiful book there that you can show us?
I do. Sorry, I've got my slippers on here.
Awesome. I love that you've got your slippers on while you're Zooming with us. I'm sure a lot of
around the house
you do.
Yeah. So that is because she can. And it's got a beautiful cover. I don't know if you can see the embossed cover. And then it, I might bring it down just a little bit.
Because it's got your gorgeous photography in it right through it as well.
All the images in there are of my photography. At the back, it's actually got some of my images. And in here, we have a quote by one of the women. And then you'll see the woman's face. And so it goes so on throughout the whole book.
So how do we get our hands on a copy of your amazing book?
Marina Brbot book.com. Can we leave something?
Can you put that in the chat?
Or you can call me. You can call me. My number, can that be up there too?
Beautiful. So if anyone would love to get a copy. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. There. So yeah, you can call me. You can get the number, or you can.
Oh, thanks, Cam. Cam's just put the link in the chat, everyone. So you can click on that and to find out more about Marina. And I know, just quickly, I think, have you got another book in the works?
I do. And the other book is not a coffee table book, ladies and gentlemen. It's called To Soften the Fall. I've named it. And it's about this journey. It's about everything we were talking about right now. And it's about how I got to do this and what I found out about myself along the way, and what drove me to do what I knew I could do and what I know you can all do too.
You have been, exactly. Can't wait. Judith says, can't wait for the next one. I completely agree. Thank you so, so much. It has been such a privilege. I don't know about any of you, if there's been a tear or definitely goosebumps yet again. Goosebumps. You are amazing. So we will definitely be chatting to you again, and big kisses to you. But thank you so much. So inspirational.
Big kisses to you.
Thank you so much for sharing this incredible story with us. It's been an absolute
I'm just honored and I'm privileged, and I'm just happy that that I was here. Yeah.
But right back at you. We're all very happy that you're here too. Thank you, everyone, for another incredible. You're getting applause here. You're getting applause.
Hi, Sal.
So everyone, this is the power of this community. Look at these amazing women and guys here. So connect with each other, forge these strong relationships. You've heard it from this amazing woman, Marina Brbot. Please, jump in, get rid of the fear, be your authentic self, and surround yourself with the right people.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's all about who we spend our time with. So thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Marina, again. See you, everyone, tomorrow at 12 for another awesome Few Connect live stream. See you then.
Thank you, lovely lady. Bye-bye.